I thought I knew what love looked like. 3 years with Amanda had taught me patience, compromise, and what it meant to be part of someone's life. We had plans. We talked about weddings, about building something real together. But there was always this one thing that kept creeping into our happiness. Her sister Stephanie and those 2 kids of hers. I never thought the woman I loved would force me to choose between my sanity and our relationship. I was wrong. Before I tell you how a simple babysitting request destroyed my 3-year relationship, let me know where you are watching from in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe, because this story shows exactly what happens when family loyalty crosses the line into exploitation. Now, let me take you back to where it all started. Amanda and I met at a bookstore downtown on a rainy Thursday afternoon. Both of us were reaching for the same mystery novel, and that awkward laugh turned into coffee, which turned into dinner, which turned into 3 years of what I believed was a solid relationship. She was everything I thought I wanted. Thoughtful, ambitious, beautiful, in that natural way that made my chest tight every time she smiled. We spent weekends hiking trails upstate, cooking elaborate meals that usually ended in laughter and takeout planning trips we promised ourselves we would take. Those first 18 months were easy, simple. We moved in together after a year, splitting rent on a decent apartment in a neighborhood we both loved. Work was good for both of us. I had just gotten promoted to senior analyst at my firm, and Amanda was making waves in her marketing department. Life felt like it was finally clicking into place. But there was always Stephanie lurking in the background, like a storm cloud we pretended not to see. Amanda talked about her younger sister with this protective tone that I found sweet at first. Stephanie had gone through a rough divorce 2 years before I came into the picture. Her ex-husband was apparently a piece of work, and she was left raising 2 kids on her own. Jaden was 7, all energy and chaos, and Kylie was 5 with a voice that could shatter glass when she wanted something. Amanda felt responsible for her little sister. That part I understood. Family matters. I got that. The first time I met Stephanie and the kids was at a family barbecue at Amanda's parents' house. It was one of those perfect summer days, warm but not too hot, with the smell of grilled burgers and fresh-cut grass filling the air. I was nervous, wanting to make a good impression, wearing a shirt Amanda had picked out for me. Her parents were kind, welcoming, exactly the type of people you would want as in-laws. Then Stephanie arrived. She pulled up 20 minutes late, not apologizing, just announcing her presence like everyone had been waiting for her entrance. Jaden burst out of the car and immediately started running circles around the yard, screaming at a pitch that made my ears ring. Kylie followed, grabbing at the food table before anyone could stop her knocking over a bowl of potato salad. I watched, waiting for Stephanie to do something, anything, to rein them in. She just plopped down in a lawn chair, pulled out her phone, and started scrolling. Amanda jumped in immediately, chasing after Jaden, trying to clean up Kylie's mess, laughing it off like it was all part of some charming chaos. I helped where I could, but mostly I just watched these 2 tiny humans operate with absolutely no rules or boundaries. When Jaden threw a toy at another kid and made him cry, Stephanie barely looked up. When Kylie demanded ice cream before dinner and started shrieking when told no, Stephanie handed her the ice cream. Later that night, driving home, I mentioned to Amanda that maybe the kids could use a little more structure. She got quiet for a second, then said something that should have been a warning sign. They are just excited. They are still adjusting to the divorce. Stephanie is doing her best. I nodded. Let it drop, told myself that everyone parents differently. The babysitting requests started small. A month after that barbecue, Amanda asked if I could watch the kids for a couple of hours one Friday night. Stephanie had something important to handle and could not find anyone else. I said, sure, figuring 2 hours was manageable. How hard could it be? Stephanie dropped them off at 6, promised to be back by 8, and disappeared without leaving any instructions, snacks, or emergency numbers. Those 2 hours stretched into hell. Jaden found permanent markers and decided my walls were his personal canvas. Before I could stop him, there were scribbles across the beige paint in the hallway. Kylie spilled an entire juice box on the carpet, then stepped in it and tracked sticky footprints into the bedroom. Neither of them would listen to a word I said. When I tried to get them to calm down, they just laughed and ran away. By the time Stephanie finally showed up at 9:30, an hour and a half late, I was exhausted, frustrated, and my apartment looked like a tornado had torn through it. Stephanie barely apologized. Just gathered up the kids, said thanks, and left. No offer to help, clean no acknowledgement that she was late, nothing. Amanda was grateful, though, thanking me over and over, telling me how much it meant to her that I helped her sister. I smiled, said it was fine, and spent the next morning scrubbing marker off walls. But that was not the end. The following week, Stephanie needed another favor. Then, the week after that. It became a pattern I started to recognize too late. Every time there was some urgent reason she needed help. Doctor appointment, work emergency, important meeting. I said yes because I loved Amanda and I wanted to be supportive. But after the 4th or 5th time, I started noticing something. Stephanie never actually had emergencies. She had happy hours with friends. She had dates. She had shopping trips. The emergencies were all convenient excuses to dump her kids on someone else. I tried talking to Amanda about it one night after another exhausting babysitting session. Does Stephanie ever ask anyone else to watch them? I kept my tone casual, not accusatory. Amanda got defensive immediately. She needs a break, Emile. Being a single mom is hard. You do not understand what she is going through. I dropped it, but the resentment started building quiet and steady like water rising behind a dam. 2 months into this routine, babysitting stopped being an occasional favor and became an expectation. Every weekend, like clockwork, Stephanie would text Amanda, and Amanda would turn to me with those hopeful eyes, asking if we could help out. Not asking if I wanted to. Asking if we could. As if it was a shared responsibility we had both signed up for. I started having to cancel my own plans. Bowling night with my buddies from college got pushed. A work happy hour I actually wanted to attend got skipped. There was a playoff game. I had tickets to good seats, and I had been looking forward to it for weeks. The morning of the game, Stephanie called. She needed us to take the kids. When I said I had plans, that I had tickets, Amanda looked at me like I had just kicked a puppy. The conversation that followed was tense. She did not yell, but there was this disappointment in her voice that cut deeper. It is just one game, Emile. Family is more important. I wanted to argue that I had been there for her family over and over, that maybe just once my plans could come first, but I could see it would not matter. So I sold my tickets at a loss and spent Saturday evening watching Jaden destroy a board game while Kylie screamed about wanting McDonald's. Stephanie never asked anymore. She just announced, "I am dropping them off at 6. Not, "Can you watch them?" or "Are you available?" Just statements of fact, like I was a free daycare service she had on retainer. And every single time I pushed back even a little, Amanda would step in to smooth things over, to explain why this time was important, why we needed to help. The real breaking point started on a Tuesday afternoon. I had a major presentation scheduled for Monday morning, a client pitch that could make or break my quarter. I needed the weekend to prepare to go over my numbers to practice my talking points. My boss had made it clear this was important. Friday afternoon, I told Amanda I would be working through the weekend and could not do any babysitting. She understood. She even offered to help quiz me on my presentation. Saturday evening, I was deep into spreadsheets when my phone rang. Stephanie. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. Her voice was frantic, rushed. "Emil, I need you and Amanda to take the kids tonight. It is an emergency. Please." My gut said no. My brain said no. But Amanda was right there looking at me with concern, and when I hesitated, she took the phone. 5 minutes later, it was decided. Stephanie would drop off Jaden and Kylie for an overnight stay. Emergency. That word kept getting thrown around. Amanda promised it was just this once that we would make it work, that I could study while the kids slept. I wanted to believe her. I packed up my laptop and presentation materials, telling myself I could make it work. Stephanie showed up at 7, harried and rushing barely, staying long enough to hand over the kids in their overnight bags. No explanation of the emergency, no details. Just, "Thank you so much, I owe you." And she was gone, tires screeching as she pulled away from the curb. The night was a disaster. Jaden and Kylie had apparently decided that sleep was optional. They ran around the apartment, jumping on furniture, fighting over toys, demanding snacks and attention. Every time I tried to settle them down to explain that I had important work to do, they just ignored me. By midnight, they were still wide awake, hopped up on the sugary snacks Stephanie had packed. By 2 in the morning, Kylie was crying about missing her mom, and Jaden was having a meltdown because I would not let him play video games. I did not sleep, not 1 minute. By the time the sun came up Sunday morning, I was running on fumes. My eyes burning, my presentation notes barely touched. The kids finally crashed around 7 exhausted from their all-night chaos fest, and I had maybe 3 hours to pull myself together before I needed to leave for work the next morning. Monday's presentation was a train wreck. I stumbled over my numbers, lost my place twice, and could see the disappointment on my boss's face. After the meeting, he pulled me aside and asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes, but we both knew I had blown it. That client went with a competitor, and I spent the next week doing damage control on my reputation. Wednesday evening, I found out the truth. Amanda's friend Sarah mentioned in passing how nice it was that Stephanie had met someone new, how cute they looked together at that wine bar downtown Saturday night. My blood went cold. Wine bar, Saturday night, the night of the supposed emergency. When I confronted Amanda, she got flustered trying to defend it. Okay, maybe it was not a life-or-death emergency, but Stephanie deserves to have a social life. She never gets to go out. I could not believe what I was hearing. At my expense, I almost lost my job over her date night. Amanda's face hardened. "You are being selfish. You do not understand what it means to be there for family." That word. Selfish. It hit me like a slap. I had given up weekends, canceled plans, sacrificed my sleep and my career, and I was the selfish one. We did not speak for 3 days after that fight, moving around each other in cold silence, both too stubborn to break first. Eventually, we patched things up with a half-hearted apology on both sides, but something had shifted. The cracks were starting to show. A month passed in uneasy peace. I still helped with the kids occasionally, but I started setting boundaries. No more overnight stays, no more last-minute demands. Amanda was not happy about it, but she seemed to accept it. I thought maybe we had found a balance. Then Stephanie dropped the bomb. It was a Thursday evening. Amanda came home from having coffee with her sister, and I could tell immediately something was up. She had that nervous energy pacing around the living room, not quite making eye contact. Finally, she sat down and hit me with it. "Stephanie is planning a trip. She is going to Miami with some friends for a week. She needs us to watch Jaden and Kylie." She said it fast, like ripping off a bandage. A week. 7 full days and nights with those 2 kids. I felt my stomach drop. When I asked, already knowing I was not going to like the answer. Next month, she already booked the tickets. Not asked if we were available. Not checked if it worked for our schedules. Already booked. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice level. Amanda, I cannot do that. A whole week I have work. I have responsibilities. Her face fell. Emile, she really needs this. She has not had a real break in years. Neither have I shot back. Every weekend for months, I have been dealing with her kids while she goes out and has fun. Now, she wants a full week. Amanda's expression shifted from disappointed to angry. This is not just about you. This is about family, about being there for people you care about. I do not care about Stephanie, I said, and the honesty of it hung in the air between us. I care about you. But I am not a free babysitting service, and I am done being treated like one. We argued for over an hour. Round and round, the same points repeated. She accused me of not understanding family values. I accused her of letting her sister take advantage of us. Neither of us would budge. Finally exhausted, we went to bed angry, sleeping on opposite sides of the mattress with a wall of silence between us. The weekend came, and Stephanie called a family meeting at her place. I did not want to go, but Amanda insisted. When we arrived, Stephanie was all smiles, showing us her Miami itinerary on her phone, talking about beaches and clubs. Not once did she actually ask if we could watch the kids. She just assumed. When there was a break in her monologue, I spoke up. Stephanie, I am sorry, but I cannot watch Jaden and Kylie for a week. I have my own life and responsibilities. The room went silent. Stephanie stared at me like I'd just spoken in a foreign language. What do you mean you cannot? Amanda already said it was fine. I looked at Amanda. She would not meet my eyes. Amanda does not speak for both of us, I said carefully, and I am telling you no. Stephanie's face turned red. She stood up, pointing at me. Are you serious right now? After everything my sister has done for you, you cannot do this one thing for her family. I have been doing things for months, I replied, keeping my voice steady even though my heart was pounding. Every weekend, canceling my plans, messing up my work. I have helped over and over, but a full week is too much. You are a useless boyfriend, Stephanie spat. Amanda deserves someone who actually cares about what matters to her. I stood up to leave, but Amanda grabbed my arm. Emile, please, can we just talk about this? There is nothing to talk about, I said quietly. I am not doing it. The drive home was silent and suffocating. When we got back to the apartment, Amanda unleashed everything she had been holding back. If you love me, you would help my family. That is what people do when they are committed to each other. I have been helping, I said, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. For months, I have been helping. But this is not help anymore. This is being taken advantage of. Stephanie does not respect my time. She does not respect me, and honestly, neither do you. Maybe you are not ready for a real commitment, Amanda said, and there was something cold in her voice I had never heard before. Maybe you are not the person I thought you were. That hurt more than anything Stephanie had said. I took a breath, steadied myself. Maybe I am not. But I am not going to apologize for having boundaries. Then she said it. The ultimatum that would end everything. Step up and be part of this family or we are done. Your choice. I looked at her, this woman I had loved for 3 years, and realized I did not recognize her anymore. Or maybe I was finally seeing her clearly for the first time. If that is the choice, then I guess we are done. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. You do not mean that. You are just upset. I mean it, I said. and I had never been more certain of anything in my life. That night I could not sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying 3 years in my head. All the times I had bent, all the times I had compromised, all the times I had put Amanda's needs, Amanda's family, Amanda's priorities ahead of my own. And what had it gotten me? An ultimatum. A choice between self-respect and a relationship that had clearly stopped being a partnership. I thought about the future Amanda wanted, the one where I was always available for Stephanie, where every weekend was potentially interrupted, where my time, my energy, my life was always secondary to her sister's needs. That was not a future I could live with. That was not love. That was martyrdom. By morning, my decision was made, not in anger, not in spite, but in clarity. I loved Amanda. Part of me probably always would, but I loved myself more, and that was okay. I waited until Amanda woke up, had her coffee. Then I sat down across from her at the kitchen table and said the words that would change everything. I love you. I have loved you for 3 years, but I will not be manipulated or guilted into living my life on someone else's terms. I am choosing myself. I am leaving. Amanda's face went white. You cannot be serious. You are throwing away 3 years over babysitting. I am leaving because you gave me an ultimatum instead of respecting my boundaries, because your sister matters more than I do, because I will never be enough unless I am willing to sacrifice everything. I stood up. I am done. Emile, wait. Let us talk about this, please. But I was already moving, pulling out the suitcases from the closet, starting to pack. Amanda followed me around the apartment, alternating between anger and tears, still convinced I was bluffing. You are not actually going to leave. You are trying to prove a point. I kept packing, clothes, toiletries, books, my laptop, the things that were mine. 3 years of cohabitation untangled in a single afternoon. Where will you even go? She demanded. My buddy Marcus said I can crash with him until I find a place. I had already made the call that morning. Marcus had not even hesitated. Come stay as long as you need, man. By 5 that evening, everything I owned was loaded into my car. Amanda stood in the doorway, mascara streaked down her face, still not believing this was real. If you walk out that door, we are done. For good. I know, I said softly. Goodbye, Amanda. I drove away and did not look back. My phone started buzzing immediately. Calls from Amanda, texts, voicemails, each one begging me to come back to talk to work it out. I did not answer. I needed space. I needed silence. I needed to be sure. By the next morning, Stephanie had posted on social media a long rant about deadbeat boyfriends who abandon families in their time of need. She did not name me directly, but everyone knew who she meant. Some of Amanda's friends reached out telling me I was cold-hearted, that family should matter, that I had let Amanda down. A few of my own friends sent supportive messages. About time, man, she was using you. I blocked Amanda's number. Not out of anger, but out of necessity. Every text pulled at me. Every voicemail made me doubt. I needed to be strong enough to stay gone. Marcus was incredible, giving me space when I needed it, dragging me out for beers when I got too deep in my own head. The first week was the hardest. I would wake up reaching for Amanda, forgetting for a moment that she was not there. I would see something funny and instinctively reach for my phone to text her before remembering. Grief is strange. You can grieve something even when you know leaving was right. 3 weeks passed. I was settling into Marcus's spare room, starting to look at apartments, slowly rebuilding the parts of my life I had neglected. Work was better. My boss noticed the change, commented that I seemed more focused. I had reconnected with old friends, guys I used to hang out with before every weekend became Stephanie's kids. I joined a gym, started reading again. Small things that felt like coming back to myself. Then my phone rang from a number I did not recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was Amanda. "Please do not hang up," she said immediately. "I just need to talk to you." I almost ended the call. My finger hovered over the red button. But something in her voice stopped me. She sounded tired, defeated. "What do you want, Amanda?" "I need to tell you something. You were right." Those 3 words hung in the air. I sat down on Marcus's couch waiting. After you left, Stephanie could not find anyone to watch the kids, not for the trip, not even for a regular weekend. She tried hiring a babysitter service, professional people. They lasted 1 night and never came back. Amanda let out a bitter laugh. "Turns out, when you are not invested in the family, dealing with Jaden and Kylie is not worth any amount of money." I did not say anything. Let her keep talking. She had to cancel her Miami trip, lost the deposit. She was furious, blamed me for not keeping you in line like you were some pet I was supposed to control. Amanda's voice cracked. "I have been taking off work to help her. My boss pulled me aside yesterday and told me my performance is slipping. I might lose my promotion." "I am sorry," I said, and I meant it. I did not want her to suffer. I just did not want to be the one suffering for her sister's sake anymore. "I took you for granted," Amanda continued. "I thought, because you loved me, you would just accept everything. That your love meant never saying no. I was wrong. I am sorry." The apology felt genuine. Part of me wanted to cave to tell her we could try again to go back. But I knew better. "I appreciate you saying that." "I do. But apologizing does not change the fundamental problem. Your sister will always need something, and you will always feel responsible. I cannot be in a relationship where I am always going to be second priority." "What if things were different?" Amanda asked, desperation creeping into her voice. "What if I set boundaries with Stephanie? What if I told her no? Sometimes." "Could you really do that?" I asked gently. "Could you really choose me over helping her?" The silence stretched long enough to be an answer. "I did not think so," I said. "You are her big sister. That is who you are. I do not fault you for that. But I cannot live in that dynamic. I deserve to be someone's first choice, not their consolation prize after family obligations are handled. So, that is it. We are just done." She was crying now, and it broke something in me to hear it. "I think we have been done for a while," I said softly. "We just did not want to admit it. Take care of yourself, Amanda." I ended the call before she could respond, before I could change my mind. My hands were shaking. Even when you know something is right, it can still hurt like hell. The following weeks brought a strange kind of peace. Grief mixed with relief. I missed Amanda in the quiet moments, missed the good parts of us, the parts that existed before everything got complicated. But I did not miss the weight of expectations I could never meet. I did not miss feeling guilty for having boundaries. I found an apartment of my own. Nothing fancy, a 1-bedroom in a decent neighborhood with good light and space for all my stuff. Moving in felt like closing a chapter. I bought furniture that was just mine. Hung pictures I wanted to see. Created a space that did not have to accommodate anyone else's needs. It felt good. It felt like freedom. Work picked up. That promotion I had been chasing finally came through. My boss told me he had noticed the change in my focus, my dedication. "Whatever you did to get your head straight, keep doing it," he said. I smiled. Getting my head straight had cost me a 3-year relationship, but it had given me back myself. I started dating again casually, nothing serious. just coffee dates and movies, relearning how to be single, how to exist as just Emil instead of Emil and Amanda. It was awkward at first, stumbling through small talk, remembering how to flirt. But it was also kind of exciting. The possibility of meeting someone new. Someone who would not come with the baggage of demanding relatives and boundary issues. Marcus and I were hanging out one evening watching a game, drinking beers, when he asked the question I'd been avoiding. "Do you regret it?" Leaving her. I thought about it. Really thought about it. "No," I said, finally. "I regret that it had to end that way. I regret that she could not see how unfair it all was, but I do not regret choosing myself. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I am living my life on my terms. That is worth more than any relationship." Marcos clinked his beer against mine. "Good answer, brother." 6 months after I walked out of that apartment, I can honestly say I am happier than I have been in years. I reconnected with hobbies I had abandoned. Started playing guitar again, something I had not touched since college. Took a weekend trip to the mountains with friends. No obligations, no guilt, just freedom to enjoy the moment. I learned something crucial through all of this. Love is not supposed to be a constant sacrifice of yourself. Real love, healthy love, is a partnership where both people's needs matter equally, where boundaries are respected, not resented, where family is important but not at the expense of the relationship itself. I learned that walking away from something that is hurting you is not giving up. Sometimes it is the bravest, strongest thing you can do. Sometimes it is the only way to save yourself. And there is no shame in that. No guilt. Just the quiet dignity of knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. Amanda reached out one more time about 2 months ago. A simple text. "I hope you are doing okay. I think about you sometimes." I stared at that message for a long time before responding. "I am doing well. I hope you are too." And I meant it. I did not wish her ill. I just could not be the person she needed me to be. I have not heard from her since. I do not know if she ever set boundaries with Stephanie. I do not know if she found someone willing to be the backup parent for her sister's kids. And honestly, it is not my problem anymore. That realization more than anything is what tells me I made the right choice. So here I am, 6 months later, living in my own place, thriving at work, surrounded by friends who actually respect my time. I wake up on Saturday mornings without dreading a phone call. I make plans without wondering if I will have to cancel them. I exist as a complete person, not as someone's convenient solution to a family problem. The scars from that relationship taught me what I will and will not accept moving forward. They taught me that love without respect is not really love at all. They taught me that family is important, but it should not be weaponized to manipulate or guilt someone into submission. They taught me that I am allowed to say no, even to people I care about, even when it disappoints them. I am not bitter. I am not angry. I am just free. Free from the constant weight of someone else's expectations. Free from feeling guilty for having my own life. Free to build a future that is actually mine, not one dictated by someone else's family drama. Looking back, that ultimatum was the best thing that could have happened to me. Not because I wanted the relationship to end, but because it forced me to choose. And I chose the only thing I could live with. I chose myself. I chose my dignity. I chose freedom. Would I do it again? Absolutely, every single time. Because I learned that no relationship, no matter how much history you share, is worth losing yourself. I learned that boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. And I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is let them go. The ultimate irony is that by trying to force me to prove my love through sacrifice, Amanda proved that she did not understand what love really means. Love is not about how much you are willing to give up. It is about how much you can grow together while still maintaining who you are as individuals. I do not know what the future holds. Maybe I will meet someone new, someone who understands that partnership means mutual respect and balanced priorities. Maybe I will stay single for a while, enjoying this newfound peace. Either way, I am okay. Better than okay, I am whole. So, if you are watching this and you are in a situation where someone is demanding you sacrifice your boundaries, your time, your self-respect, in the name of love or family or obligation, hear me clearly. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to choose yourself. And anyone who truly loves you will understand that. Anyone who does not, they were never really there for you in the first place. That is my story. That is how a babysitting ultimatum taught me the most important lesson of my life. That freedom, true freedom, is worth any price. And I would choose it again every single time. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt taken advantage of, where family obligations crossed the line into exploitation? Drop a comment below and share your experience. I would love to hear how you handled it. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about finding yourself when relationships fall apart. Share this with anyone who might need to hear that it is okay to choose themselves. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there realize they deserve better. Take care of yourselves and remember your peace matters more than anyone else's convenience.